My last name's Kaminsky, so.
Mark. Good afternoon, Ms. Kaminsky. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury, spelling your last name for the record?
My name is Charlie Kaminsky, Kaminsky.
What do you do for a living, Ms. Kaminsky?
Well, I drive limousines for my own company, Quadruple A Luxury Transportation.
Do you have any hobbies or interests?
Well, one of my favorite places to go is Rock the World.
Do you visit Rock the World often?
Yeah, I visit Rock the World a lot.
Did this give you a chance to get to know any of the employees there?
Yeah, I know two main employees. I know Whit Bowman, and I also know Cameron Poole.
Could you tell us about some of the experiences you've had with Miss Whit Bowman?
Well, Miss Whit Bowman, she's a ride operator, and she's a fun person to be around at the park. And I met Cameron Poole the first time at the ticket booth, but that day sticks out in my mind.
Why do you say that day sticks out in your mind?
Well, one day I was about to buy a ticket at the park, and Cameron Poole made a slight hand maneuver when I handed him my money, and he put it somewhere besides the register. And
Did he do anything else?
yeah, and then he took the bracelets where you usually get them from the original stack. He grabbed them from a pile of wristbands in a box where it was out of my sight.
Did you inquire as to why you didn't get a normal wristband?
Well, I asked Cameron what was up with the wristbands because it was a stranger color, and I asked him, can I trade it from the ones in the normal shack? And then he got a little nervous.
Were you able to get a typical wristband?
Well, I didn't ask him directly, but I tried to use my people skills. I told him that I used to drive around J.C. Longstreet, the owner of the park, and that he's a lousy temper and a real jerk, so I wouldn't report him.
Were you able to get to the bottom of what was going on?
I eventually didn't get my wristband, but Cameron did tell me why he gave me the other wristband from the shack.
And what was that reason?
Well, Cameron told me that him and a few friends were taking a cash profit from the wristbands, and he was going to distribute the money to other employees that couldn't live on their wages.
Now, did you visit the park on August 30th?
Yes, I was at the park.
And did that day go like any other normal day for you?
Well, I was at Rock the World, and I received this text message from a number I've never seen before, asking me to pick up a person that night at the grocery store parking lot.
Did you agree to do this?
Yeah, I agreed to do it. I wasn't planning on working that day, but they said that they would give me $300 in cash, so I thought it was a pretty good bet.
Did they text you immediately to come pick them up?
Well, after I asked who it was and what time they wanted me to pick them up, I didn't get another text message about hours later.
What did you do in the meantime?
Well, I rode the rides at Rock the World, of course.
During your time at Rock the World, was there any strange happenings at the park that day?
Well, while I was in the line, I saw someone that looked like the man that was in the ticket booth, Cameron Poole. He was running across the park, and a person that looked like a security guard, I can't be sure, was chasing after him with his gun drawn.
Well, did you stick around to see what would happen?
Well, this is when I received the text message, so I just thought I went to go do my job.
And did you make it to that grocery store to pick up your client?
Yeah, about like 10 minutes later.
Was your client there and waiting for you?
Well, I was waiting, and I appeared not to see anyone there until I saw Cameron come out the woods. And he walked into the store for a few seconds, came back out, and stood right in front of my car.
And did Mr. Cameron Poole inform you that he was your client, or why was he there?
Well, I rolled down the window, and Cameron said, well, your client's here. So I opened the door, I let him in the back, and he told me to take him to Midlands Marina.
Now, given all the happenings of that day, do you have any feeling about taking Mr. Poole to the Midlands Marina?
Well, yeah, with the amount that was given to me and the strange things that was happening at the park, I felt really uncomfortable. But I know in my days with the luxury transportation system, you just don't ask questions. And Cameron Poole seemed like he wanted to be alone anyway.
Why do you say he seemed like he wanted to be alone?
Well, when he got into the car, he asked me to put up the privacy screen. but like I said, I felt uncomfortable, so I left the speaker open.
Were you able to hear anything?
Well, this is when Cameron was on speakerphone with someone else, and it sounded like Whit Bowman. And Cameron responded talking about things got crazy and we were gonna get caught. And he had your knife, and he was gonna carve Floyd up or something if he didn't fill up the bag of money.
Did Miss Whit Bowman have a response to hearing all this?
Well, then I started hearing Whit screaming, saying, "I didn't do it. I told you I didn't want none of this to happen."
And was that the only conversation you overheard?
Well, after the conversation ended, Cameron had another conversation on the phone, but he took it off speakerphone, so I could only hear what Cameron was saying.
And what was Cameron saying?
Well, Cameron was telling the other person that he smoothed things over with Whit, and that Whit was going to stay quiet until he got his money, and they were going to wait till the money and Cameron Poole were long gone.
Did Cameron Poole say anything else?
Then Cameron Poole said that he was going to lay low until they met up at the bar later.
You said, he said they were going to meet up at a bar.
They were going to meet up at a bar later.
Were you able to finish the transportation of Mr. Poole to the Midlands Marina?
Well, right after the phone conversation, we arrived at the marina a few minutes later. Cameron got out the car, and I never seen him again.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any